Tonight on KVR News, the Pope visits America for the first time. We look back at some of the highlights during his visit.
Sexual assault takes a toll for college freshmen.
And UT comes together to increase awareness on suicide.
All this and more coming up on KVR News, Austin's leader for live, local UT coverage.
Broadcasting live from the Texas Student Television Studios at the University of Texas. You're watching KVR News at 9, Austin's leader for live, local UT coverage. Your news starts right now.
Good evening and welcome back to KVR News for Monday, September 28th. I'm Sandy Marin.
And I'm Leslie Adamy. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Pope Francis wrapped his historical iconic visit through the United States on Sunday by celebrating Mass with thousands in the streets of Philadelphia. The Pope's six-day tour to the U.S. began in Washington, continued in New York, and ended in Philadelphia. During the visit, he personally met with many people, including school children, underprivileged families, congressmen, inmates, victims of clergy sex abuse, and many others.
In his final speech, the Pope emphasized the importance of connecting both faith with family across the country and around the world. In his final words before making his departure back to Rome, Pope Francis said, "May God bless you all, and God bless America." President Xi Jinping of China has concluded his week-long visit to the United States. During this time, he and President Obama agreed to renounce cyber theft of intellectual property. The two nations have also made an effort to work side by side to tackle climate change by announcing a cap and trade system to limit greenhouse gas emissions in China. However, both leaders failed to resolve tensions over China's involvement in the South China Sea. Jinping ended his visit by addressing the United Nations during its 70th anniversary session.
Republican House Speaker John Boehner stepped down from his post and left Congress and will be leaving Congress on October 30th. Boehner says the decision came after a night of sleep and prayers the day after hosting Pope Francis. After his announcement, Boehner stated in an interview that conservative groups who enforce agenda are not realistic. Criticizing his own party, Boehner discussed his own disappointments in office, including the grand bargain deal, which would have addressed debt and government spending. With the position now up for grabs, it is unknown who his successor might be, although leader Kevin McCarthy is in the lead to win the speakership.
September 2015 marks National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month with nationwide attention on promoting mental health resources. Our Viviana Castañeda shows us how UT finds a way to leave a local impact on students on campus.
Reports show that suicide is the second leading cause of death for college students. In hopes to decrease these rates, UT takes one step further by increasing alertness on suicide prevention.
So this is an issue that affects many of our students, and so we want to use this week as a strong call to action for everyone on our campus, including faculty, staff, and students, to get involved in preventing suicide on our campus.
Lessons being taught include students learning how to help a friend in need by recognizing their behavior, responding quickly, and taking action.
You know, I would say that it always kind of needs to be addressed more, just because it's such a touchy topic for everyone.
Students use the hashtag #HopeStartsWithUT to promote awareness on preventing suicide. As you can see, the word hope played a significant role. These were worn to express optimism towards seeking help.
Why didn't I die? And it's because of this.
Speakers coming in to share their own experiences with suicide emphasizes how one can feel during their stages of recovery.
I want people to know that I'm still working on it, and because sometimes people can see this person and it's like, I can never amount to that, or she's at a level that I can never be, and it's like, no, because I'm not going to lie and say that I am 100% like recovered.
Viviana Castañeda, KVR News.
Now, if you or anyone you know wants or needs help, call UT Counseling and Mental Health, the Mental Health Center crisis line at 512-471-2255. The line is available 24 hours a day to all students. And according to a study published by the Association of American Universities, nearly 12% of students over 1/5 of undergraduate female students nationwide say they have been victims of sexual assault or non-consensual sexual contact. Our Avery Travis has more on the story.
28 schools, including the University of Texas, participated in the survey. The study also found nearly 17% of respondents in their freshman year reported sexual contact by force or incapacitation, compared to the 11% of seniors, citing that freshmen may be at a higher risk as they are not as familiar with situations that might lead to an incident of sexual assault. A group working to fight sexual assault, called Not on My Campus, says that this fall they hope to raise awareness for new students.
It's special that we're getting involved in the fall, especially since we're focusing on preventative measures this time. We can be able to have an impact before a lot of harm happens.
They gained national attention last spring after getting 1,400 signatures on a petition to fight the silence surrounding assaults. According to the survey, more than 50% of victims and people involved did not report the incident, saying that they did not think it was serious enough. Voices Against Violence, a program out of the university's Counseling and Mental Health Center, says that they want students to be aware of the resources available for victims.
It's a highly protected, private place to come seek support. So not forcing anything, not even making anything that's like you should, you must, right? We really want that person to feel empowered to make that choice for themselves.
The UT system is now conducting their own survey on sexual assaults on campuses. With a $1.7 million price tag, it will take 4 years to complete and will survey 13 of UT's campuses, with a special focus on 4. UT El Paso, UT Arlington, UT Austin, and the medical branch at Galveston, creating what many are calling the most comprehensive study of its kind. I'm Avery Travis, KVR News.
There have been a total of 12 selfie deaths this year alone, passing the amount of people killed by sharks. However, the act of taking selfies is not the killing factor. The aftermath from a fall or electrocution are just a few examples of how the deaths have occurred. A Japanese tourist died from taking a selfie on the Taj Mahal last week. Just a reminder to be careful where you selfie. And well, the Gender and Sexuality Center is working with UT facilities to install more gender-neutral restrooms on campus. The Project Management and Construction Services Department at UT has already converted many single-occupant restrooms to gender-neutral bathrooms, despite the 32 existing gender-neutral bathrooms already available to UT students. GSC is aiming to accommodate to more students, but first they must overcome a lack of funds.
So one thing that we can do that will not take up many funds, if at all, is to actually change the signage on certain restrooms. So one of the biggest problems is that even though we do have gender-neutral restrooms already existing on campus, there's no sign really to kind of indicate that for any students who wish to use one. So I know over the summer the PCL was installing.
Well, a former UT student will spend 10 years in federal prison for attempting to provide material support and resources to terrorists. Ruto Khan pled guilty to the charge last summer and was sentenced on Friday. Officials say that from March of 2011 to early 2012, Khan had conspired with others to engage and support in terrorist activities. In court, Khan told the judge he's not anti-American and is proud to be a Longhorn. Once Khan completes his 10-year sentence, he will be on supervised release for an additional 10 years. And French President Francois Hollande authorized airstrikes on ISIS-controlled regions of Syria on Sunday. Until now, France limited its military involvement to concentrated areas of Iraq. But Hollande says that making the decision to expand into Syria is an act of self-defense. Hollande added that the crisis in Syria is a global issue and that all nations should work together to solve it, whether through military action or taking in more refugees.
Still to come, student ACL ticket sales bring more chaos than expected.
And Speedway gets a new makeover.
Stay tuned for more KVR News.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
Early Saturday morning, nearly 1,000 high school and college students flocked to Zilker Park to wait in line for student discount tickets to ACL Festival. Tickets went on sale at 10 a.m., but that didn't stop those who had decided to camp out the night before in hopes of getting their tickets first. As tickets were being distributed, stampedes of students broke out. No serious injuries were reported, but an ambulance did take 2 students with minor injuries at APD's request. For some students, the wait and chaos were worth it, but for other students who now have injuries from the stampede, not so much.
It wasn't worth it. It was probably one of the scariest moments of my life because I was literally trapped with a gate on my leg and I couldn't move. There was a lack of security for the amount of people that were there, and it was poorly organized, as in, it's like instigating this sort of behavior that people are acting like animals and swarming in to get a ticket.
Now, ACL Festival does kick off this weekend along with large crowds. There will also be street closures and limited parking. We advise you plan for weekends 1 and 2 accordingly. The Speedway Mall project is now on its way. The project plans on reconstructing Speedway from the Blanton Museum all the way to Dean Keaton Street, making it easier for students and faculty to get around campus. The new design is intended for activities such as informal gatherings, campus festivals, and performances. Construction on the project will begin next month and is set to debut at the end of 2017.
Don't block the box. That's what Austin police want you to keep in mind as you're driving down Guad. New signs along the road are popping up as reminders to drivers to not block the box. The campaign began in early April, but police and officers are now taking to the streets to make sure drivers are following the rule and ticketing those who fail to acknowledge it, especially during the rush hour times of 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. along Guadalupe Street. The rule not only applies to drivers, but to bicyclists and pedestrians as well.
Apple is going electric, according to a recent Wall Street Journal report. The tech giant is joining the car industry with plans to roll out its version of an electric car by 2019. The journal reports that Apple has had a team of 600 employees working on the project, codenamed Titan, for over a year now. And Apple does face competition from Google, who has been testing its own fleet of driverless cars since 2009. And while Austin City Council is making an initiative to approve $1.8 billion in solar contracts to expand the use of more renewable resources in the city in December. City Council made agreement to purchase 600 megawatts of solar power by 2017, only if it was affordable enough and available in the city. Despite this initiative, Austin Energy would have liked to spread the cost over a 10-year period, while other utility office officials are making recommendations for the city to buy up to 300 megawatts of solar power for this year. This contract brings concerns to Austinites as it will create a utility upcharge of up to $4 a year, costing almost $33 million a year for the next 25 years. City Council will make their final approval on Thursday.
On Sunday, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg hosted Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi in Silicon Valley. Modi praised the role of social media in government and emphasized how technology could help reduce poverty in India. He also used the opportunity to promote Digital India, an effort to connect rural communities in India to the internet. Mark Zuckerberg changed his Facebook profile picture to support this initiative, sparking a new trend on social media. The Prime Minister ended his trip by meeting top tech executives at Google and Tesla. Well, as October approaches, so does Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Austin ISD has teamed up with the Texas Advocacy Project and the Travis County Sheriff's Office to promote the domestic violence issue. The initiative will have almost 1,480 varsity football players sporting purple ribbons on their helmets. Well, October should also bring a fall breeze, am I right?
You're right. Let's see what's happening in the weather.
Cooler temperatures may be in store this week, but don't break out your sweaters and jeans just yet. Stay tuned.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
Welcome back to KVR News. I'm Alex Samuels. Expect a slight shift in weather this week as we move from triple digits to the low 90s. Today we saw a high of 88, a low of 70 degrees, and a few raindrops this afternoon. The drizzle will pass soon for those heading to the first weekend of ACL. Temperatures will hit the 80s this Saturday. For tomorrow, we'll see a slight peak in temperatures as high as 90 degrees. While we might see some rain tomorrow morning, expect a sunny day overall. This Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we won't see much change in the weather. Expect sunny skies and mild temps through the middle to the end of the week, with lows getting as far as 67 degrees this Friday. The warm weather will continue into the weekend. Saturday, we'll see a high of 88 and a low of 68. Sunday, we'll see a high of 86 with a low of 68. It'll be nice to see some lower temps after a hot summer. While it's not quite fall weather, it should be cool enough to spend some time outdoors. Live in the Weather Center, Alex Samuels, KVR News.
Thanks, Alex. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely looking forward to those cooler temperatures.
Oh, I am too.
Yeah.
Well, College Press Box's Katerina Biancardi will be in the studio to talk Longhorn sports after the break. Stay tuned.
Now, KVR News at 9 Sports.
Welcome back to KVR News. Despite falling short of the Grand Slam on the PGA Tour, former Longhorn Jordan Spieth bounced back this weekend with an incredible day of putting during the final round to win the Tour Championship. This 22-year-old Texan became golf's first $22 million man, consisting of over $12 million in prize money and the $10 million bonus from the FedEx Cup along with the FedEx Cup. Spieth won a total of 5 times during the season, making him the youngest player since Horton Smith in 1929 to have 5 wins and take the FedEx Cup in the same season. And this past Saturday, Texas football faced Oklahoma State, and College Press Box's very own Mark School Jr. was able to provide more insight on the game.
Heartbreak. It has been the common theme as of late for the Texas Longhorns football team after Texas suffered another preventable loss to the Oklahoma State Cowboys due to a mishandled punt by true freshman Michael Dixon with less than a minute left to go in regulation.
You know, the amazing thing about this game, it is a game of life, and you just got to learn how when you get knocked down, you got to be able to pick yourself up. You look at 2 straight weekends and 2 straight Saturdays that, you know, you had it right there in your hands, and we've let it slip away from us.
It's just always really disappointing to come out there and play as hard as we played and as hard as we fought. We just kind of have a game back and forth, and then at the end we just couldn't finish. So, you know, really frustrating.
You come out and lose 2 games like that, but you just got to go back to the drawing board and just keep pushing, just keep working hard.
While 2 devastating losses might seem to hurt the Longhorns' mental psyche, the Longhorns are 100% positive they won't fold up down the stretch due to their strong passion for the game.
They bring energy. And that's what we need on the field. I mean, as long as you bring in that juice, the energy, all the excitement, energy, and passion, that's what defense is all about.
We got a good football team. And, you know, you can look at us and see 1-3 team, but, you know, that's not where we are, and that's not where we're anywhere close to going to be at the end of the season.
The Texas Longhorns let another game slip right out of their hands, suffering their 2nd straight heartbreaking loss in a row. While their record stands at 1-3, the Longhorns are 4 points away from being 3-1 after suffering a heartbreaking loss last week against Cal by only 1 point and today to Oklahoma State by 3. The only thing Texas can do at this point is to keep their heads up and move on to TCU. For College Press Box, I'm Mark Skoll Jr.
So, Katarina, I guess we can both agree that these two past games have been, well, heartbreaking, you know?
They have been quite heartbreaking, very rough. But against the Horned Frogs this weekend, unfortunately, it will be another loss for Texas. I predict the score to be 42-21, not Texas, TCU. So maybe later down the road we'll get some W's.
Maybe some other years, maybe. Well, thank you so much for coming, Katarina. And our Lauren Hubbard is live in the studio with your entertainment news. Lauren, what's the latest celeb news?
Thanks, Sandy. Well, up ahead, why one Barbie doll is getting a lot of attention, why Chris Brown may no longer be allowed in the land down under. We have the answers for you up next. Stay tuned for more KVR News.
Have a news tip or story idea? Call the KVR News tip line, 475-8181.
Welcome back to KVR News. I'm Lauren Hubbard. Chris Brown's hating from the outside of Australia, but he can't even get in. Brown was set to tour the country this December. However, the Australian Immigration Department denied his request for a visa Sunday based on character grounds. Following Brown's 2009 conviction of assaulting then-girlfriend Rihanna, activists have been protesting the rapper's return to Australia. The singer has 28 days to present his case, after which the Immigration Department will make a decision. Fresh off the win of the Emmys, comedian Amy Schumer signed a historic $8 million deal with Gallery Books. The book, entitled The Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo, will feature a collection of personal essays about the comedian's life. Similar books by Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, and Mindy Kaling have been extremely successful. In fact, Kaling's most recent book, Why Not Me, debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list this weekend. However, none of these seasoned veterans have received as high of an advance as Schumer. At the height of her popularity, Fey received $6 million for her book, Bossy Pants, in 2008. Schumer expected publication date is fall 2016. Barbie now has a new look. Actress and singer Zendaya Coleman is now the face of a metal doll inspired by the Vivienne Westwood dress and hairstyle Coleman wore to the 2015 Oscars. Coleman wrote on Instagram posts that when she was younger, she couldn't find a Barbie that looked like her. She thanks Barbie for allowing her to be a part of the expansion of the definition of beauty. That is all for your entertainment news. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at KVR News ENT. Back to you.
Thanks, Lauren. I'm Sandy Marin, and thank you for joining us tonight.
And I'm Leslie Adamy. For news and weather updates throughout the week, you can follow us on our Twitter at KVR News.
Stay tuned for College Press Box up next and on Texas Student Television. Have a great night.